Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we are going to build a beautiful, responsive gallery using just HTML and CSS. No JavaScript required. We'll learn how to structure the gallery using simple HTML and then style it with CSS to create multi-column layout that automatically adjusts to different screen sizes. Let's get started. I'm starting with a div element. A div is a container used to group content together. Here I am giving it a class called gallery. This class name will help us to target and style this section using CSS later. Inside this gallery div, I am adding multiple images using image tag. The first image is image, source, image1.jpg, alt, image. Let me break it down. The source attribute stands for source and tells the browser to find the image file. In this case, I am using a file named image1.jpg. The alt attribute provides alternative text that is shown if the image doesn't load. It's also useful for screen readers and accessibility. Now I'll add a few more images, image 2, 3, 4 and 5, all following the same format. Now when we preview this in the browser, you will see all the images appear one after the other in a vertical stack. That's because by default block level elements stack vertically and we haven't applied any styling yet. Don't worry, this is just the raw structure. The next step is to style this gallery using CSS and turn it into responsive multi-column layout. Now coming to CSS, let's start by resetting some default browser styles. I'm selecting the body and setting both margin and padding to 0. Most browsers apply default spacing to the body, which can mess with our layout. By resetting them, we start with a clean slate to work on. Next, I am styling the gallery class. This is the container that holds all our images. First, I am using column count 4. This splits the container into 4 vertical columns and the images will automatically flow inside these columns like a newspaper layout. Then I add column gap 1 rem, which creates space between each column. And finally, I add padding 1 rem to give the whole gallery some breathing room for the edges of the browser. Now let's style the images inside the gallery. I am selecting gallery image. This targets every image inside the gallery. I set width 100% so each image fills the width of its column. I add margin bottom 1 rem to create vertical space between the images, and display block ensures there's no unexpected white spaces below the image, which sometimes happens with inline images. And that's it. We have built a clean, responsive image gallery with HTML and CSS. Let's add a bit of interactivity to the gallery using hover effect. I am targeting gallery image hover, which means whenever a user hovers on the image inside the gallery, then I apply transform scale 1.02 which slightly zooms the image by 2%. This gives a nice subtle animation that makes the gallery feel more dynamic and interactive. You can tweak this value to make the zoom effect more or less dramatic. Now let's make the layout responsive so it works beautifully on tablets and phones. First I am using media query @media max width 768px, which means if the screen width is 768 or less, apply the styles inside the block. Here I reduce a column count from 4 to 2. That way the images stack into 2 columns on smaller screens like tablets. Then I add another media query max width 480px, which targets even the smaller screens, usually smartphones. Inside that I set the column count to 1 so the gallery becomes a clean single column layout on mobile, which is much easier to scroll through. And that's it. We have built a clean responsive image gallery using only HTML and CSS. You saw how easy it is to create a flexible layout using column count and add spacing and hover effects and make it more mobile friendly with just a few lines of CSS. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more web development tutorials just like this. Got questions or want me to cover something else? Drop a comment below. I always read them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!